Hello fantastic people and welcome back to Borderlands 3. In this video we're going to go over the dedicated drop rates, the anointed drop rates, plus a full legendary guide of the Garcia shotgun, which happens to be probably my favorite shotgun in the game and is definitely at least top 2 probably, if not top 3 best shotguns in the game, particularly if you are playing as Flak. It's a lot of fun to use. It's recently buffed about a month or two ago and I have absolutely gone crazy farming for the best of the best one. If you guys haven't seen, it's in practically all of my build videos. Feel free to check out those. They'll be in the description if you guys want to see this thing in action some more. But yeah, let's just jump straight into it. The Garcia shotgun, this is the one you're going to be looking for. This is the strongest damage one with the best, or at least second best anointment for Flak, depending on how you play. Consecutive hits or 100% ASC is the best ones you're going to be looking for if you're using my builds. Of course, if you're playing a different character other than Flak, there are different anointments. Zane has the 100% cryo, Amara has 300% face slam, she has plenty of great anointments. And then Mo's, I don't really know much about Mo's, but if you guys are Mo's mains, let me know in the description down below. But I'd say Flak is the main character you're going to be using this shotgun for because he's a crit machine, he's a ricochet machine, and he's a Jacobs machine. This is the one you're going to be looking for. They have two different kinds of pellet counts. There's times 12 and there's times 16. I recorded all the drop rates for the different pellet counts and the drop rates for those, so you guys can check them out. But 581 is the strongest level 57 one. There's a whole bunch of different variations. Of course, by the way, if you have a level 53 one, they still work with the builds. Don't stress, still check those out if you have one from a while ago maybe. Check it out, still an amazing gun. The best thing about this shotgun versus say like a stagecoach, other than the fact that this is way easier to farm versus a stagecoach, the fire rate on this thing is like twice as good as the best stagecoach I've seen. The magazine size is 20 versus like 5, I think, for a good stagecoach. So you can just fire like crazy. You can clear a room with this thing. It's a lot of fun to use. The anointment consecutive hits is the one I'm currently using because I like pairing it with a pearl. But 100% ASC, if you're constantly getting your ASC on constantly proccing it by a rack attack, or even if you're using fadeaway 3-shot, is absolutely amazing to use. Now, as for finding the boss you want to farm for the Garcia, it is CHONK STOMP, which yes, amazing name, I know. Go down to Eden 6. It is actually located in Floodmore Basin, but the easiest way to get there is go to the Anvil first, which is where we currently are. From the fast travel station, literally just turn right and just travel through here. Saves you a bunch of time, particularly if you're on PC with short load times. It takes you out to a news station, which is the closest news station to the CHONK STOMP farm. So we just run out here to the right. There's the news station you're going to be proccing straight away. You want to run towards these here rocks. I'll show you guys the location while we're still here. If you guys want to go from the Floodmore Basin fast travel, that's the Knotty Peak. That's where you find Wainwright and all that sort of stuff. So you can come down here, go across the bridge, and drive up if you would like. Personally, I like the Anvil trick. Yep, you run up here, head for this rock just there. Flak, you can jump here like first try every time because he seems to be the tallest character. But I tried running this a few times with Amara because obviously the spiritual driver with the speed is really, really good. But you sometimes don't actually make that jump. You have to kind of go on a weird angle. But you can definitely make the jump with every character. I've tried it. Whoops, just realized my game sound was off. My bad. But once you get to this area here, this is the CHONK STOMP boss fight little arena thing. He will spawn here every single time. Here's a crew challenge boss for Hammerlock himself. Kill him real quick. Like I said, he drops the Ruby's Wrath, the Tunguska rocket launcher, as well as the Garcia shotgun. He's dropped us some world drops here. We've got a Storm, we've got a Black Hole, and we've got a long musket. That's actually a pretty rare thing for him to drop. He doesn't usually drop that many world drop legendaries at once, so that's a pretty decent drop, I guess, minus the fact that I'm not interested in any of those. Another fact, there's also a red chest here, particularly at the moment for the next week. There is a red chest event on, which you guys can get all of these amazing legendaries. The drop rates have been increased. On top of that, if you guys would like to come over to the stream tonight, I stream every single day. You guys can get some of the legendaries just for being in the stream. Whenever I open a rare chest, you guys have a chance to win the goods inside. And we farmed, I don't know how many chests last night, but it was a lot. And we actually got some really good stuff for stream. So again, big thank you for everybody that was hanging out last night. If you guys want to come hang out, it's linked in the description all the time, or just check out CodyMQ on Twitch. Okay, but let's jump into some stats for you guys. I'll show some runs on screen so you guys can get a kind of vibe of how long it takes per run for this thing. I'd highly recommend having a Snowdrift artifact on for that movement speed, particularly if you are Flak, because he has some pretty standard movement speed. Otherwise, it gets a little slow. so if you can try and speed that up, I would definitely recommend getting a Snowdrift if you can. Now, before we get into the stats, big disclaimer, these are not guaranteed stats for you guys. It will not happen exactly how it happened for me. This is just a general consensus of what the drop rates you can expect from it is. I essentially do these videos to try and help you guys out as much as possible, but I know there's a lot of new people in the game, so I'll put as much as information as I can in. For example, a lot of new players might not know that Guardian rank luck artifacts with luck on them, Mayhem 1, 2, 3, 4, even if Mayhem 2.0 has come out by the time you're watching this, those won't affect it. If you guys are on True Vault Hunter mode, regular Vault Hunter, normal mode, whatever it's called, and whatever level you're on does not affect dedicated drops whatsoever. It is always the same regardless, so you guys can farm it without having to get all these extra things. It'll be exactly the same if you're a new player versus if you've been in the game forever. The main thing to mention though, with Mayhem levels, it won't change the drop rates of those dedicated drop weapons, but it will actually change the chance of those being anointed when they finally do drop. So if you guys can handle Mayhem levels all the way up to Mayhem 4, or if Mayhem 2.0 has come out, would recommend turning that up as much as possible, because it will change the chance of it being anointed. This is being recorded on the 13th of April, so 2.0 hasn't come out yet. We don't know all the information for that, but I believe with Mayhem 2.0, the damage of said weapons will increase as you go up the Mayhem level. So that's just a quick mention as well, if you guys are watching this video later on. Now, on top of that, if you guys have any questions whatsoever on anything in this video, or just generally in Borderlands 3, feel free to let me know in the comment section down below. I'm more than happy to answer any and all questions. I love helping out people as much as possible. Okay, but let's finally get into the numbers for you guys. After 2,000 runs of Chonk Stomp, we got 977 legendary weapons. As you guys can tell, there's not many world drops drop from Chonk Stomp, hence I was a little confused how we dropped 3 just then, but 977 legendary weapons, 451 of those were anointed. That is a 46% anointed chance right there. Out of the 2,000 runs, 1,167 of them were unsuccessful, meaning there was no legendaries dropped from him whatsoever those runs. For the record, I didn't check the red chest, I didn't count any of the red chest drops in any of these stats, by the way. So you guys, if you guys are running it yourselves, you're going to get more legendaries if you check those chests, particularly right now while the event is on for the next week. But yeah, these are the stats just for Chonk Stomp himself, no red chests included. Now, out of those 977 legendary weapons, I will mention, because I've mentioned it in all my other videos that I've done just like this for other bosses, the class mods dropped was 59, and the artifacts dropped was 35 out of those runs, and out of that many legendaries, which is super low. So don't expect any good class mods or any good artifacts for these runs. If you guys are looking for class mods or artifacts, by the way, I have full dedicated videos for those. I have a whole dedicated video on the best class mod farms for the times it takes to find them. That includes all the bosses in the game, as well for class mods, artifacts, legendary weapons in general, and we're talking just world drop legendaries, as well as anointed legendaries. I recorded all of those and made those all separate videos. They'll be linked in the description, or you guys can, there might be some on the end card, title cards thing, so you guys can check it out there, or just check it out on the channel if you'd like. So out of the dedicated drops, generally there's a set dedicated drop rate. So after X amount of farms, the boss will drop one of the dedicated drops, and it randomly rolls, randomly in quotation marks, will drop one of the legendaries that's in his loot pool. So Chonk Stomp has 3 in his legendary loot pool, which is a pretty standard one for Borderlands 3 currently. I'll start with the one that drops the most. It is the Ruby's Wrath. By far, 210 drops after 2,000 runs. Just 90 of those were anointed. That's a 43% anointed chance, which is actually, it's super high from what the standard was before the, I was going to say reset buff, but it's been out a little while now. But that anointed rate is low compared to the other ones that we've tested recently, and particularly compared to the rest of the dedicateds. For example, the Tunguska was next. Absolutely love this rocket launch. If you guys have been in the stream, you know all about the Tunguska meme. This thing dropped 194 times after 2,000 runs. 126 of them were anointed, which is a 65% anointed chance, which is way higher than the Ruby's Wrath. And the Garcia, everybody's favorite shotgun. This includes both the ×12 and the ×16 variants, by the way. 161 drops, 103 of those were anointed, which is a 64% anointed chance also. So the Tunguska and the Garcia are about the same, 64-65% anointed chance, and that is, by the way, from all the rest of my testing so far, pretty average for dedicated drops to be anointed. That's pretty on par, whereas the Ruby's Wrath is for some reason super low, which I guess it's because of the amount of drops. Like, it's way more common from the drop, so the percentage is lower. Now the Garcia, like I said, the times 16 one is way better. So if you guys want to look just for those, I took the times 16 stats out separately as well. So they dropped 36 times after 2,000 runs, so they are super rare. But 26 of those times 16s were anointed, which is a 72% anointed drop rate, which is way higher. So if you guys finally do get yourselves a times 16 to drop, then it will be a much higher chance of it being anointed at least, which is fantastic. Now, like I said earlier, these drops are not guaranteed for you guys. You can sometimes get absolutely shafted from these drops, which I personally think I did. I took so long to get a times 16 max or best anointment. On mine, it took me well over, I think, 1,500 farms before I got my first 100% ASC one to drop. It took honestly forever. That includes the times 16. I don't remember when the first times 16 one dropped, but it was well after maybe 150, maybe even 200 farms. The Garcia itself didn't take too long for me to drop, but I've heard a few people in my comment section of my build videos, etc., saying that it doesn't drop from Chonk Stomp. They farmed it 20 times, etc. Which, this is why I love making these videos. Just so you guys know, it will take a lot longer than that. Sometimes it may drop in the third run, but sometimes it may take well over 50. For example, I checked out my notes. I write all of the drops down, and I've seen quite a few times where it's gone all the way up to 80 times, 80 farms where I haven't got a Garcia to drop, which is kind of crazy. I believe the longest stint was in 220 farms. I got 2 Garcias, which is super low. But again, then I got 3 in a row. 3 times 16 Garcias, 2 of which were anointed in a row for some reason. So that's just RNG for you. You can get shafted, you can get really lucky. But that's just what these videos are for, to try and give you guys a broad estimation and kind of what to expect when you guys are farming for a Garcia. It is one of the best shotguns, if not the best shotgun all around to get in the game. So it is going to be difficult to get the best one if you guys are going for that. But yeah, that's all the information I have of 2,000 farms of Chonk Stomp and the Garcia shotgun. Hope you guys found this video helpful or enjoyable. If you did, feel free to smash subscribe down below. If you hit that bell, YouTube will notify you for whenever I post a video. If you guys want to help me out even more, feel free to like and share the video. It helps the channel grow, and I really appreciate it. If you guys want to come hang out tonight, I stream every single night just after I post my videos, about half an hour after. And we generally stream between 4 and 6-ish hours. It's always linked in the description, or you guys can just search CodeMeQ on Twitch. I'd love to see you guys over there. We are super close to not only 1,000 followers, but super close to Twitch partner, which is so exciting. Thank you so much for everybody that's already come over. You guys are legends. But yeah, hope to see you guys there. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Have a fantastic day. I shall see you guys in the next video and a live stream. Till then, adios.